vote so we can get this thing rolling. And then, you know, yesterday I finally had a chance to get on the phone with some people and really dive into recruiting. So that's kind of been the process for me so far.
Cool. Any other questions? Hands? Let's see. Anybody? Well, I have some questions, Coach. Let's see. If LMU basketball was a brand, what brand would it be?
Well, that's a good question. I don't know if it'd be one thing specifically, but I'll tell you that we're going to be a team. We're going to be a brand that you know, majors in all the details and everything, including the small ones. What I'm doing with you guys, I did with our whole team today and our whole staff. And I told those guys, like, if we want to play in big games and we want to sell out our arena and we want people to love who we are and what we do, then before you can get to that step, you've got to master all the little ones, every single thing. And I want that to be the brand of Loyola Marymount basketball, that the details we're special in, and especially the small ones. And if you can master small things, I don't care if it's basketball, if you're a student, or whether career you're in, as you start to learn to master little things, what you end up doing is you start creating habits. And when you create great habits, now there's an expectation for success. So that's the steps we want to take. That's the brand that we want to have, that we're a team that values all the details. And hopefully if we do that, we'll get to a point where, you know, when we're playing Gonzaga at home and it's 68-67 and we're down one, and on a given possession, all five guys have to do all the small things right offensively for us to get a basket, we'll do that because we have great habits. And because we do that, we win the game. And when you win the game and you win a game like that, guess what? More people come back to support you. So I want to be a team and a program and a brand that, you know, gets lost in the details, that understands the importance of all the little things. And, you know, I want us to understand that we have to dominate and control those areas. All the things that we can control, we have to be really good at. And I would hope that would be the signature of our brand, whether that's in classroom, if we're in the classroom and you have a chance to doze off, you know what, you don't doze off because you right there, you have a chance to win that moment. You have a chance to do the right thing or the wrong thing, and you choose to do right. I want to be a program that does right with all the little things.
Great. Dean Smith has a question.
I do. First of all, Coach, welcome to LMU. We're all really, really excited to have a new coach of the basketball team. I'm one of the few fans that sits and comes every week. I'm a season ticket holder to men's basketball. And obviously it's tough to be at a school where, you know, we haven't exactly seen a winning team, but it's exciting because the team that you're inheriting is so young. So you'll have a chance to really develop and win with them. And I think that's kind of exciting when we saw the talent this year is in freshmen and sophomores. My question is, when you're trying to market the power of LMU athletics and get some of that lion spirit going, I mean, here in the business school, we study marketing, we study management, we study all of these things. And, you know, being on the bluff is one of the, I have a hard time kicking kids off the bluff. They never want to leave. They don't want to study abroad. They don't want to leave LA. So I guess my question from a marketing perspective is, if everybody's doing things right, it still takes time to get to that winning season. And the hardest thing is to be at a BYU game or a Gonzaga game, and we are so outnumbered with fans. How do you address that marketing strategy before you get to that winning team? It's always easy to sell tickets when you've got a winning team. How do you sell tickets? How do you get people involved and engaged before that point? Because I get the feeling that if we could fill it up, the kids play at a different level.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. It's a hard question. But, you know, part of the reason I've hired who I've hired, and hopefully that'll be announced soon, is because a big part of this job is not just coaching our guys. Now that's the most important thing. You have to coach them and you have to put them in a position to be successful. But I want to build a program, and I don't just want to have good teams. And I want to build a program that everybody can they could be proud of, and is so easy to cheer for. And, you know, a big part of building the program is laying the foundation. And, you know, for me, I have a 200-day community engagement plan that we're going to put in place with the help of, you know, our AD, associate AD, our marketing team, you know, a fundraising team, all those entities that circle our program. So, for example, one of the first things I've done, I've established our circles meeting. And our circle basketball meeting is all the people that circle our program: fundraising, ticketing, our associate AD, marketing, you know, and that's going to be a bi-weekly meeting. And we're in those meetings, we're going to come up with different plans on how we engage our student body, how we engage our community, how we engage our alumni, our former players, because that's where we have to start. And I always say, like, you know, nobody cares what you have, how smart you are, until they know how much you care. And a big part about that is I have to be out, and I want to engage people. Like, for example, so I've started this deal, and if we were there, I would be in person. But so tomorrow I'm starting my first coffee with the coach. And there's going to be, I believe, 15 people who we're going to Zoom in. And those are going to be, you know, again, boosters. And that's going to be every Friday. You know, next Friday, it could be specific student groups, alumni groups, you know, sorority, fraternity groups. You know, I want to make sure we're touching everybody. And I don't want this to only be about what does men's basketball need. I want this, what can we do for your program? If we support you, there's a good chance you're going to support us. So the marketing piece is important to me. One thing I started as well, it's called, you know, a new standard, obviously playing off my name. And that's going to be a bi-weekly newsletter that goes out every 2 weeks. And it's called a new standard. And it kind of gives people an inside look of every 14 days, what's happening with our program. Again, the more you know, the more people are engaged, the greater they have a chance to now come out and support you while you're trying to build things. I want people to know us. And I've been on, I mean, whether it's Doug Gottlieb's radio show and all these shows nationally and locally. And here's the deal, like, this is you guys' school. You know, when I went to school, whether you loved sports or you loved basketball, that was part of the fabric of the school. You know, that was a fun time. Those were great moments. Those 3 hours were great. They were great getaways. I mean, I'm coming from a Jesuit school in Marquette. We have 10,000 students. We have 10,000 students in our school in a 19,000 seat arena, and we fill it every night. All those kids don't love basketball, but it's entertainment. It's fun. You know, they go there to obviously celebrate our team because it's a big part of the identity of the school. But that gives me hope. And I hope that people will want to come out and let's all work together to make our men's basketball team the fabric of our university. And I've seen what can happen when that happens. You know, when people care and there's electricity and you're winning. But to get to that point, again, it's the little things. Everybody has to roll up their sleeves and start working and do a little more. And that's my challenge. I'm going to challenge everybody. Again, that's why I said a new standard. You know, what we've done is not good enough. And if you think just by hiring a coach, it's just going to flip, you're wrong. 5 years from now, there'll be a new guy here if we all don't change. So I'm going to hold people to the fire. I'm going to hold myself to the fire, and we're going to have a new standard and a new way to cultivate relationships throughout our university and our community and the country.
Well, it's exciting. Yeah, that's great. Any other questions from students? Eamon?
I guess I'm going to ask a question. So are there any strategies that you would use in targeting, you know, say a first-year student versus an upperclassman? in terms of getting them to come to games, getting them to, invest in the men's basketball team?
Well, the one thing I've got to do is, again, I've got to get there and figure out our student body. I got to figure out what the needs are. I want to hear you guys' opinion. I don't know all those things right now. And that's the other thing. I don't want to come in with this concept of, I know it all. I don't. I want to sit down and listen. I want to the groups and the different groups and hear and meet people at their needs. But we have to create an excitement. We have to create a party. We have to create something that draws people to the game just outside of just the game itself. Like people go to football games because of all the things that are happening around the football game. People at Marquette would come to the basketball games because all the stuff that was going on outside of just the basketball game. And win, lose, or draw, they still had a great experience because of what was happening in the game, before the game, after the game. And that's what I'm focused on. How can we create an environment where even if you don't love basketball, you want to be there because you feel like you're missing out on something? And that's what I want to figure out. And again, I can't do that alone. But people have to want to care. We have a smaller school. I mean, what else are we doing? Let's get out. What's the worst that can happen? You can go and scream for 2 hours and go back to your normal life. But it has to be everybody caring and wanting to see that. I'm telling you, man, there is nothing like your team going to the NCAA tournament or winning big games. And, I'm talking to this class, but I need you guys. I need you guys. I need you guys to show up. I need you guys to be there. And I promise you, whatever you need from me, I'm going to be there. I'm very personal that way. It's not like a transactional relationship, but why don't we build something, man, that's like incredible, that everybody can be proud of? Don't you guys want to see like Selection Sunday, Loyola Marymount name being called? It gives me chills thinking about that, but I want to be surrounded by people who want the same thing. I think right now we have such this laissez-faire attitude, like, yeah, who cares? It's basketball, we suck. We got to change that. And we have to speak that into existence. And if I have to talk to one person at a time on our campus, I promise you, I'm going to do that. I want to do that. I have to recruit you guys like I'm going to recruit a player. I'm actually talking to you right now like I just got done talking to 10 players, off the phone. It starts with this kind of connection and this kind of relationship, but you have to want to care. And I have to give you guys a reason to care other than just winning, because we're not there yet. Hopefully you guys will say, you know what? This guy doesn't sound too much like an idiot. I want to be around him a little bit. I can support him. So it starts with that relationship right now.
Ian?
Hi. So similarly to how lots of companies develop really great cultures that keep companies working well, much better than people would think that they would, how much do you value a culture for your team, and what kind of steps are you going through to make sure that the culture is successful?
That's a great question. For me, culture is every single thing. Culture is everything. And this year, I'm going to be evaluating our culture and how we approach things far more important than I'm evaluating the wins and the losses. Because if we can create the right culture, we can create the right environment and the right structure, everything's going to happen. But if we miss steps and we don't get that right, then you're in trouble. And culture it's not like the nice words that you see in buildings: family, togetherness, toughness. That sounds good. People create culture. And I always say, like, how you select people is far more important than how you manage them once they're on the job. So my job is to select the right people and get the right people on the bus, because people create culture. And then it's my job to demonstrate that culture every day and to hold people accountable for the things that we believe in. And I am 100% committed to that. So for me, even culture is how how we act. We're a yes, sir, no, sir, look a person in the eye, shake their hands. We're a thank you team. We got to do all those things right. No, sir, yes, ma'am. All those little things. You know, we go to class every single day. We don't miss class. That's part of our culture. Academically, we understand the value of education. I want people who will do that. You know, there's a way we carry ourselves every single day when we come to practice. We compete every single day. And that's our culture. And if you can't live our culture, you can't be a part of our program. And that's what I want to establish, because every great organization, every great business, all of them have a winning culture. And I don't care what you're doing, it's pretty consistent in terms of the people in the organization, and then holding those people accountable to the beliefs and the values that you have. And that's my primary job right now, is to do that. And that's why I made that and came up with that slogan, a new standard. And that's not to say everything was bad, because I hate coming in and going, oh, we got to change the culture. I think that's very disrespectful for the people that I've replaced. You know, those guys came in here and they try to do their best, and they've advanced it the best way they can. So I'm going to stand on their shoulders, and now we're going to add greater value to what everybody else has done before us.
Oh my God, aren't you guys so excited? It feels so fresh and new, and I think it's really great for the school.
Thank you. Some people look like they want to take a nap. I'm looking at you guys. I got to come over there and shake you guys up a little bit.
It's at 4:30 to 7 class. Any other questions for Coach? Dean? Is Dean still in? Maybe not.
I know, I'm here. Am I muted?
Oh, you're unmuted now.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, my video was off because I had kids in the background. My grandchildren are visiting for 3-4 months. Anyway, what I wanted to share is that one of the things that we do every year, that I started when I got to LMU 2 years ago, is we do we do CBA night at basketball. And the idea is to get our students from the CBA out there in force, as well as our faculty and staff engaged. We do a pregame party and invite CBA alums. So the first year we did it, we had about 50 people who came, and this past year we had 100 people showed up. We didn't win the basketball game, but it was an incredible opportunity for great spirit. My only disappointment was that as a CBA school, we couldn't all sit together so you could see our CBA strong. And I'm hoping that when you arrive on campus and we kick off the fall and then the winter basketball, that we can continue as a CBA, as a college, to work with you. If you're looking for help with marketing strategies, and particularly our marketing department is one of the strongest in the country. It's one of our strongest majors. I hope that you'll take full advantage of reaching out to our faculty to see how maybe real world projects to accomplish some of your goals might give students a chance to show you their skills and what they can do to help make some of that happen. So I hope I'm not speaking out of turn by offering up our students and faculty in that way, but it'll be our absolute pleasure to welcome you big time next year.
Well, I appreciate that. You know, I've said this, I'm a little different. You know, I'm not an expert in everything, you know, and sometimes I have a lot of ideas. I need help executing them. And that's where everybody comes in. Again, this is not my program. I just happen to be the caretaker. This is your program. And you guys have been there a lot longer than me. I welcome every ounce of help I can get. Does that mean I'm going to use it all? No. But I would hope people would walk into the basketball office and be like, Coach, I had this great idea. That's a connection. That's a relationship. I'm looking for that. I don't want to do this alone. And if I have to do this alone, we're going to be in trouble. And I also don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I hate that. I want to be surrounded with people that are by far more talented than me and smarter than me and that make me better. So I will take all the help we can get, because where we want to go, it can't be done by one person. And I need all of you. And, you know, everybody's got their own sets of talents. And if we can put all that together and form that kind of team, then magic can happen.
really appreciated hearing that. And on behalf of the college, I just want to say thank you. One other piece that I probably don't necessarily have to do in front of all of the students, but hey, I've got you here and it's captive. As the dean, oftentimes I get an opportunity to talk to prospective students and hopefully convince them that the CBA, studying business at LMU, is a pretty good option. So if there are top recruits that are interested in studying business, please feel free to call upon me or any of my faculty in any of the disciplines, or some of our students if one of your prospective recruits wants to learn what it's like to study business in CBA. We're a pretty outgoing bunch, and when parents and prospective recruits are in my office, I've told this to Craig a number of times, they'll definitely see, I was the parent of a student athlete, I'm a huge sports fan, and love basketball. So anything we can do in CBA to partner with you guys, whether it's internships for our students or class projects that make it real, definitely, or helping with recruits, by all means, don't feel shy about reaching out. We think sports and business go well together.
Well, I appreciate it. I agree with that. And no, we'll use you. Don't get sick of us. I need help landing some of these dudes too, so I'll take it.
Well, Coach, before we let you go, one more question. How are you and your family doing in coping with the COVID-19 situation?
Well, they always complain that I'm never home, and now they're ready to get rid of me. So that's how we're doing. But it's been good. Again, if I would have, in a normal circumstance, I would have taken this job. I would have already been there. They would be here. My kids would be finishing school. I probably wouldn't see them till maybe June. So that part's been good. We've been able to spend a lot of time together that you normally never get. We're cooped up in a house. The kids have been good. So we're making the best of it. I hope all of you guys are doing well. I hope your families are well. And, let's fight this thing together. And so we can ultimately get together. And I'm looking forward to that.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for popping in and meeting our class and sharing your vision and strategies, for the program going forward. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Hey, I remember all your faces, and I better see them. Okay, I better see them.
Yeah, you will. You'll see them. Yay!
Okay.
Oh, look at the claps! Yay!
I'll take it.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.